Collecting baseball cards has been a hobby for over 125 years. It has gone from a simple hobby to a multi-million-dollar business. Beckett Media is the authority on all things collectible, including baseball cards. I recently went to their offices and discussed it with some of their employees, the history of baseball cards.
The early 1900s, where you can find a lot of tobacco issues.
The early tobacco cards were aimed at smokers, so you got to assume they were adults.
Yeah.
And kids chased them.
The most famous being the T206 set, which was issued between 1909 and 1911. It contained over 500 cards of famous baseball players of the day, a lot of minor league players, a lot of current Major League Baseball players. Of course, that also has the most famous card of probably all time, the T206 Honus Wagner.
And that Honus Wagner card could be hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. As you move along, you start hitting a lot of great pre-war sets into the 30s and 40s. 33 Gaudies loaded with Ruths and just amazing players like Lou Gehrig, and those cards will forever be popular.
And then in the 30s, bubblegum, Gaudi bubblegum, and
So they're kind of trying to get the kids, get them all young.
yeah, and gum was I guess relatively new.
Okay.
And a new concept to wrap a premium around.
Topps came on board in 1952 with a beautiful product, 52 Topps.
If the T206 set is the most famous pre-war set, 52 Topps is the most famous vintage set.
I mean, there really isn't a more famous card in the 1950s than that Mickey Mantle card. Recent copies selling in the $500,000–$600,000 range. It didn't sell as well as they thought right away, and a lot of the product, from early 50s Topps actually got dumped into the the river in New York there.
Topps has kind of been become synonymous with baseball cards just because of their long history.
As you move into the 1960s, you start getting a lot of really cool cards from players like Roberto Clemente, your Mickey Mantles, your Roger Maris. As you moved on, from the 60s, you moved into the early 70s. You still had some really great sets. You still had some really cool cards, Thurman Munson rookies and Carlton Fisk rookies, and Mike Schmidt, and just moved on into the 70s. I think the production runs were lower in the 1970s, and they started actually increasing in the late 70s.
1981, everything exploded. So you had Topps pretty much alone through 1980, and then 81, all of a sudden there's competition. There's Topps, Donruss, and Fleer.
You got a lot of companies: Fleer, Score, Donruss, Leaf, Topps, Upper Deck. All of them were just putting so much product out, trying to get that dollar, that it just really killed that era of cards.
Everything from about 80. I'd say 88, 89, 90, 91, 92 are just, let's just say that they're available in quantity.
As you move on into the 80s, some of those sets become a little more prevalent. There's a whole lot of that product out there.
Yeah.
84 Topps can be found in every monster box bulk collection that's out there.
Kind of like everybody calls up and goes, I have this huge collection.
I have a huge collection, and you usually have 84, 88, and 89 Topps.
The market kind of crashed, and it was kind of the end of an era. The bubble burst on the 80s and early 90s, collecting boom. So the card companies really needed something to entice collectors to get back into the hobby.
89 Upper Deck, because it was the first year of Upper Deck, and it was a so-called premium card at $1 a pack.
Yeah.
Nobody thought a $1 pack would ever sell.
And the 89 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. rookie is just forever going to be an icon, of that year.
They wanted to offer maybe some more value, maybe some cards that they thought, hey, these are cards that are going to hold value. They're not just your regular run-of-the-mill cards.
If you can find those 90s inserts, all of them hold some kind of value, and the ones that are numbered.
I think 92 might have been their first one, but they were so hard to pull, even though they were numbered to 10,000.
as you get into the late 2000s, you used to mid to late 2000s, you start getting some oddities like hair cards or pieces of fossils or pieces
Bugs.
of bugs. You get bug cards.
They started actually putting pieces of jersey cards, pieces of jerseys inside a card. So they would take a full player's jersey, cut it into 1-inch squares, and actually insert that into the card.
The stadium walls from baseball stadiums, you had bases being cut up, and man, that revolutionized the way people collected cards.
2001 SP Legendary Cuts was the first product that really pushed the cut signature as kind of a collectible, something to chase in a product.
We opened some product, and a couple of us were opening packs and ended up with, I want to say it was a Lou Gehrig Wally Pipp dual cut signature card. I want to say it sold for around $8,000, $10,000.
Prospecting is really big in the baseball card hobby, where collectors will do research on the guys that are going to be popular or who they think are going to be the next superstars.
Just recently I had a guy by the name of Julio Urias. He's a pitcher for the Dodgers. Many of you probably don't know who he is.
Prospecting.
And I was able to purchase this card for about $75, got it graded, and I was able to sell it for $800.
You know, the hobby's got to still be about fun, and you know, the more fun you get to have with this hobby, and you know, you look back at the history of 100+ years of collecting. There's great stuff that happened. There's beautiful photography. There's great technology, and ultimately something for everyone.